Top of the morning to you all. Welcome back, everybody. It's Creative Redundancy, the one known as CR, like it says on your screen. Okay, I'm starting like, 8 minutes early? For once, I'm actually gonna start early. I didn't give it that much notification for this. I actually should have set up the stream like hours earlier, but I've already started, so here we go. So while I wait for some people to drop by, this is gonna be my kind of morning time with CR. I've been doing the afternoon, the late night. It's about time I do a morning and reconnect with you folks out there. And besides, I figured I'd go live while I'm doing some stuff in the background. So perhaps I will share a few things, amongst some other things, while I get my day started. My coffee's almost ready. Yeah. My coffee's almost ready. Hi, Huga. Hi, CB. Wait, Sassy's here? Where? Where? I didn't realize Sassy was here. Unless I missed that. Yeah. Coffee dance, yeah. I know I said something early before, after I set up the stream, so she came in between that period of time and me starting the stream. Because I can't see the previous comments before I start the stream, at least on this app. Because I'm not on the YouTube side of things. Hopefully you're doing well. Morning to you. And it's morning. And it's still morning in North America, so I can still say it for a bit. So hopefully you're doing well. Have a sip of my coffee here. So what's been up with me? Well, let's just say I'm expanding my horizons on the potential of things at times. I even tried it out earlier, yesterday, and last night and this morning, just for fun. I still have to tweak it, so I won't show it yet, because I still have to, see what it can do, what it can do, and what ideally I should be using for it, but maybe useful. I already found some good uses for it. I just have to fine tune it a little bit more. Yeah, she must have dropped by earlier, yeah. Yeah, you got sweaters on the... I just like... Was it... Oh, I'm trying to remember if it was a video. I don't think it was a video. I don't know. I was watching a video, but it was part of the comment section, and someone was saying about sweaters, using old sweaters for their pets, right? You just have to make the leg holes and all this stuff. Certain way of doing it. I don't have pets myself, so I can't try it, but maybe you could try it, Hugo. Maybe you could try it. So yeah. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Noted. Yeah, maybe she's watching now. I see two people in this. Supposedly I have two. Supposedly I have two in my chat right now. People watching, so yes. So what else has been up with me? Hey, I went to go try that bag that I showed this Saturday. Well, technically the last live stream. I've been trying it out. I'm actually supposed to be going out later today, so we'll see how long I go for. But I'm bringing it along with me again and try it out. I'm actually trying to make some improvements on it too. So not just having the gear, but applying that skill and knowledge towards it too, so to speak. Or actually, more like, so it seems. literally and figuratively and metaphorically. Hey, it's a wool sock, right? Right, CP? It's a wool sock. Yeah. Because it's like 9 Central right now. 9 Central, 10 Eastern. 7 Pacific. And such, yes. So, yes. I've been trying to do a few things among some other things. Especially since I've returned from my couple days away on the previous week. Oh, previous week. I gotta remember it's Monday now, so it's not even last. I can't even say last week. It's more like the week before. But still trying to get stuff done among some other things. Basically, what I'm doing here is just like reorganizing a few things and such. Trying to get some stuff ready. It is actually getting cooler out in the mornings. I was just outside. I mean, even the early morning, I saw like under 50 Fahrenheit, under 10 Celsius. I mean, it's not per se quote unquote cold, but it is a lot cooler out. I mean, it is September now. It's, let's see, today's the 8th, the time of this live stream. 2 more weeks left until equinox time, fall, autumn. So, I mean, I'm already dropping leaves outside to a certain degree. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's not a pile of leaves outside yet. It's not quite like that yet. Knock on wood that it doesn't happen that fast. Oh wait, I hear someone. No, I'm just kidding. That's just me knocking on some random door I have inside. Oh, I see. Yeah. If she's listening, I'll say hi to Sassy too. Hi, Sassy. I could just hear her say, hi, CR. So, yes. I'm just packing up this little bag that I'll be bringing with me. Nothing major, just, not a day trip, but, or a day pack or whatever, but it's something to bring along the journey. I grab my keys. Most of my things. One thing I do have to actually do before I'm not bringing you guys along because, that'd just be weird, but, I gotta have a shower before I take off too, so, yes. And of course, I'm not bringing you guys along with that, because that'd just be weird. So, yes, I'm just basically cleaning up a little bit, trying to reorganize a few things while I'm at it. Had some time this morning, so I figured I might as well set up this new bag. Well, new to me anyway. It's not new to. It was used to a certain degree from the previous owner. But they gifted it to me. So, and I tried this out. I've been liking it so far. But I'm gonna make some improvements on it, like I said, to add more, to, personalize it, customize it a little bit more. And nowhere particular. I just have to do something for the day. Or for part of the day. I'll be back later this afternoon. And such. As I try to, remember what I'm doing here. Putting away some stuff. Gather up some random garbage I have laying around. Some stuff. Clean up while I'm doing it. Right? Might as well clean up before I have a shower, right? And such. Have my coffee at the same time. It is mainly sunny this morning. I can actually see the sunrise. I'd show you guys, but it'll just be a big glare. Big bright white glare. Or yellow, in this case. So, yeah, take my word, it's sunrise time. To a certain degree. I mean, the sun has rose already, but I can actually see it above the tree line now. Or I can see it. So, yeah. My solar lights charging, like usual. Been using these for a bit, actually. I still have them. Let me turn that off. Yeah, work in progress. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see. Gotta charge these up. Obviously, I disconnected the battery so it wouldn't be in your face. But yes, put the battery back in. Allow it to get some solar energy. This is actually one that I used last night, actually. So, and then unfortunately, it's been dry out west. I mean, on the bright side, like literally, figuratively, and metaphorically, it's been sunny, more or less. So, on the bright side, at least I'm getting the solar energy part. But would be nice to see some rain. So, would be nice. I mean, I'm not even supposed to expect, like, rain this week at all. I mean, I haven't checked since yesterday evening. But, I mean, in the extended forecast, it says it might be a chance, but I'll have to wait for that. And they keep pushing the date on it, too, right? And the probability, or probability of precipitation keeps changing. And it keeps hovering around, 20, 30, 40%. Sometimes even 50, then it goes back to like 30 again. I'm like, ah. So, maybe I should start doing this rain dance. Do, rain dance. Something like that. Well, I mean, that kind of stuff will eventually wear down, alright? An internal battery, a rechargeable battery like that, there's only a certain amount of recharge cycles that it may have. Even the newer stuff, there's still a certain amount of recharge cycles, right? So if you go for it on those. But hopefully it'll last, couple of years, maybe a decade, if possible, right? And stuff like that. Providing that the solar panel doesn't, like, cloud over or, when you use solar lights, you'll know what I mean about that, but stuff like that. It's not usual, because I've seen solar lights cloud over. There's supposed to be a way to fix that. I have to look into that, though. And such. Not to be confused with coffee dance. Yeah, I know what you mean. Right? You're up. Well, I guess I shouldn't say you're up early. It's like 10 a.m., but are you feeling better, CB, since the last time I talked to you? Which has been a while. Actually, quite a while. 2 weeks. Actually, yeah, it is actually coming up to 2 weeks. Now that I think about it. Yeah, I gotta remember today's Monday. I know. I'm randomly doing a stream on a Monday. Randomly, and I'm up early. What's the deal with that? What is the deal with that? I can't believe I'm up this early in the morning. Oh, look, it's... Hey, Baba. Iron Fire Horse. Good morning to both of you. Shalom. Well, the pathway lights, I mean... You gotta remember, those pathway lights because it's smaller. I mean, that's my opinion, and you can see it for yourself. But because I was just talking to someone yesterday about pathway lights, right? For example, and I was just looking at it like, yeah. Usually they'll have a smaller battery, smaller amount of lumens, light, LED, maybe only one LED. You know, maybe it's not even the newer type of LED that has it's the little bulb shape versus one that's like, when you look at it, it's square. like you'll see what I mean when you look at this stuff, right? And of course, the internal battery is probably less, just because, and it's smaller too, right? I mean, and the price point too, right? You're getting a 6-pack for whatever amount. Let's say $10, 20, whatever, right? Versus, let's say solar floodlight that's 30, 40, but has 15 LEDs on it, or it swirls, and the solar panel on it is much bigger too, right? And the internal battery is probably a lot bigger too, right? So it has more capacity, and also it's brighter. It's not just a beacon in the distance. It's actually like something you can physically use as light source. Now, I'm not saying you can't use those pathway lights as a light source, but they're not that bright for what they are, in my opinion. Is it? I thought I was seeing things because we've had haze in the last couple of weeks with this kind of dry spell around here, so I can't tell. I'm like, well, the moon doesn't look gray, so I'm like, is it a blood moon? I was thinking about that. I'm like, is it really? I didn't go online and check, but I'm like, is it really? Because we've had haze in the area, right? So is that what I'm seeing, or am I actually seeing it? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I don't know what it's supposed to be too. So yes, how are you doing, Iron Fire Horse? Baba, hopefully you're doing well too. Hopefully you both of you are still able to do what you need to do out there. And you too, CB. Hopefully you can still get what you can out there for what it is. I know I'm making it work somehow. Being able to acquire the resources out there the best that I can. And for what I am able to do, buy, or create. Or those leads more like find. But you'll have to wait for some of these free resource haul videos that I'm doing. I don't have one scheduled, so I can't divulge too much at the moment because it's like I'm barely not even 20 minutes in. It's like, oh, just spoil the whole video. No, you'll have to wait for that video. You'll have to wait for that video. At this rate, I might actually have to shoot another one at this rate and schedule it for next year or something like that. Because the little container, bag, whatever you want to call it, that I keep this stuff in is getting full again. Or it's getting heavy. So I have to record another video of one, I guess. Because the thing is, when I put the stuff in there, it's dedicated to that until I record the video for it, right? Let's just say I found some flashlight or whatever, right? It goes into that kind of box that I have it in until I actually, shoot the video for it, right? Don't get me wrong, I'll actually try the stuff, right? Obviously, if I find something like that, I'm gonna try it out first. Alright, it's just it's just if I found something, first thing people would say, if people or friends or family would be, oh, does it work? Right? So, You know, also if it works, then I'm gonna use it or utilize it and such, right? Oh, that's good to know. I don't know if I was, you're still kicking it, yeah. You like Niagara Falls? I've never been there personally. I've never seen the falls personally. I mean, I've been out east, right? I've been technically I've been in Kingston. I've been in the GTA area. I've been in Ottawa, Montreal, and Quebec City, right? Technically, for short, back a long time ago. I mean, I still kind of more or less remember it, right? Certain details maybe not, but it was a group activity. I still remember. That was interesting. That was interesting. I mean, for what it was. I, I'm, I'm almost thinking of this hotel or that we were staying at. I was just like, and it's kind of funny because I'm remembering this thing that happened in the morning, and I'm doing a morning stream, like, I was saying hello, like I think it was like the first morning, our first morning after, right? After, you know, the previous day, right? The first full morning, right? And we're just saying hello and all that stuff. A couple of people were getting some coffee and stuff like that, or tea or whatever, getting some breakfast and stuff like that. I can't believe I'm talking about food. I didn't even mean to, but whatever. It's my stream, and I talk about food too. Like everywhere. Ah, I see. Iron Fireworks. Pumpkin season? What? Pumpkin? Oh, pumpkin festival season. Ooh. Ah, there we go. There we go. Straight up. I wait. There she is. It's Sassy. Hello, Sassy. The sass is in the house with me, or at least typing, anyways. Doing the coffee chat. Yeah, I know. It says he's back, right? Bunch of American places I don't know about because I've never been out east in the U.S. I've only been out west here. Out west there. Well, out west there in the U.S. I shouldn't say here. It's there. You know, south of me. All right. So, yeah. But that was a long time ago again too. Good adventures out there for me. And such, right? Learn about some different areas and such, right? It kind of makes me want to go back to some of these places again. Like, even if I do it, like not necessarily right now, but, you know, hypothetically, metaphorically, right now, you know, would I be, like, looking at things differently to a certain degree, right? Ever since I started this channel, amongst some other things, the knowledge I've been supposedly gaining, right? One little bit and bite at a time, right? Oh, whatever, whatever there. I'm afraid they won't give me back. I'm just kidding. She started. But yeah, I got it. It'd be kind of nice to see it again. You know, maybe I can navigate the GTA area like I did a long time ago, right? Go. Alright. I'll just go, just walk. It's like, where are you going, CR? I'm walking down Queen Street. Why are you walking down Queen Street? Because that's what I remember the last time I was here. Or there. Right? Among some other things, right? Maybe visit some friends and family, right? You know. randomly head out and be like, "Where are you going?" I don't know, just randomly into the Mississauga area or whatever. You know, just randomly walk down some of the streets like it did back then. I'll be going down, walking down Young Street or something like that. Be like, hey, it's changed since how many years since I've been here? And it's been a while. Let's just say it, right? I'm pretty sure some of those places maybe still be there, but it's probably changed, right? Right? See the streetcars in the GTA area. I never rode it when I was there. Yeah, I never rode it while I was there. Pretty much when I was there, my commute was basically walking. Like, I'm walking to these places, like, said store, said whatever, right? And stuff like that. Walking around. Although I only walked in, like, more particularly in one direction. More or less. I'm trying to remember which direction. Trying to remember. Was it? It might have been west. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while. It's been a long time. Hi, Howie. Hey, you used to love Queen Street? You haven't been there for a year. Yeah, that straight up. Straight up, that'd be like me. What? You're going to the GTA today? You're gonna... Oh, you take Young Street to get there? Yeah. I mean, it's the continuous road that keeps going for a while, right? It just keeps going and going, right? I don't know how far I walked down Young Street. I don't know. It was like 10 blocks. Something along the lines of that, right? And then you just look down the road, it's just like, it just keeps going on and on and on. And even beyond the horizon. And such. Oh, really? Yeah, I think. Still, right now. No, I never took any of that plan. Public transit there while I was there. Alright. I mean, when we kind of went from within the Toronto area out into Mississauga, yeah, there was a ride, alright. But aside from that, every other time, basically everything was within walking distance, more or less, right, and such, right. And this was like when I was younger, right. Before certain little things, right? You know, and since I was new in that area, obviously, right? You know, when you first come into an area, right? Vacation, it doesn't matter if you're going on vacation, business trip, or whatever, right? There's gonna be some certain amount of downtime, right? Or adventure time, right? And one of the things, and I've mentioned this before, not specifically on my channel, but like on a live stream or whatever. You might have even heard me say it, but like, in terms of awareness, right? I always like took baby steps when I was there. I always remember that, right? Like baby steps in terms of like how far I would extend my reach out, right? Always making sure that I knew the way back, right? you know. I mean, I wasn't that young, but I wasn't that old, right? You know, like, and of all things, alright? Right? Getting lost in a place, you know, and stuff like that. I'd be like, wow. It'd be like Home Alone 2. Without the, you know, latter half of the movie, right? That kind of thing, right? So I was always like making sure that I always knew the way back, right? Sticking to certain areas, right? And such, right? That's why I was just like, yeah. Still remember. It was a good time. Oh, I see. Iron Fire Horse. I see. Yeah, it sounds like fond memories. Yeah. No, I see. I see Iron Fire Horse. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I didn't think I was gonna actually like be talking about this randomly, but hey, it's my stream and I'm reconnecting with you all. And besides, it's a coffee type of chit chat. Speak of coffee and chatting and chitting and chit. Oh, did I say that? And chit chatting. It's time for coffee. Virtual cheers with CR in it. Here, I'll make some sipping sound. Hi, how are you doing? Hey, welcome, welcome. Woo, you harvest abundant crops of... Wow. Wow, you guys should thank Howie here. Everyone say thanks to Howie. Why? And you're probably like, why are we saying thanks to Howie here? Because I'm gonna show something. Just because he said that. Just because he said, let me just like that right there. Move that out of the way. Look. Wait. I'm. wait. Hold on. Reading what Hugo said. Yeah. You're welcome. Wait. Oh. What's this? I wonder what this is. I wonder what that is. I wonder what that was. A little sneak peek in there. Among some other things. No, but on a serious note, I've actually been doing it. Actually, I might have to check. Not today, then tomorrow again. I checked the other day, on Saturday, I think. So, I'll check again. Probably either today or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. Or maybe later if I have the water. Like I said, it hasn't been raining. Unfortunately, so that is what it is, but... On the bright side of things, I have less plants out there. Because, right? And such, yeah. I'm still trying to learn the name. A lot of times I just look at the characteristics or the texture or the sight, the smell, right? I'm like, you ask me a name, I'll be like, oh, I'll describe it. Or supposedly there's supposed to be a name for this, and supposedly someone told me about this, and supposedly I need to show it and like look it up. But, yeah, it's supposed to have some paradigm or whatever. I don't know, some of them or whatever. You know, and such. Maybe I'll eat one right here. Oh yeah. Hold on, just like Kelly says, I'll chew a little bit longer. I'm like chewing on one tomato for like 5 minutes. Okay, I think I chewed enough. It was turning into like salsa or like paste in my mouth. But yeah, that was good. That was good. Yellow pear drop tomatoes. Morning, Bob. I appreciate you dropping by, Bob, because I know what time it is, and I know it's Monday, and I know that you won't be here the whole time, but I do appreciate you dropping by, Bob. I appreciate it. So, yes. Bobby's in the house with us. Yeah. And the birds are throwing seeds. Ah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Aw. Well, maybe you can have something else, Iron Fire Horse. Maybe some sunflower seeds. I actually did have some sunflower seeds the other day. Fresh sunflower seeds at that. Like, literally, like, off the plant. Fresh, like, 2 seconds later, right? that kind of thing. Because actually, I was actually checking on them to see how well the quote unquote seeding process was going, or like the development of the seeds and such, right? I'm like, the outer on the outer ring of the sunflower on the right, the inside, like towards the center, it takes more time, right? So, but at least the outside was starting quite nicely. I mean, on the first one that bloomed, right? You'll have to wait for that video because it's like next month. I'm showing it because unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately. It's because I'm showing some other videos for this month. For let's see, this Friday the 12th, next Friday the 19th, and the 26th. Now there may be a bonus video. But listen, you'll have to wait for the sunflower one next month. It'll be early next month. I don't know, the third or the 10th, one of the two. I would have to double check, but yes. And stuff like that. Something I've been meaning to do. And such. It's because I had to wait. I had to wait. And I couldn't time it well enough. Because I wanted to post it like last month. Like back in August, right back. Like let's say August 29th on that Friday. But I didn't quite have it quite all the way done. And I wanted to add in some more things in there, so. And since I already booked, not just pencil in what I wanted for this month, for National Preparedness Month, that's how it's done. So, that's why that other Friday you saw the yellow flowers. Because I was able to at least get that one in, right? All the videos for this month have been written in stone for like the last like 6 weeks, 8 weeks or so, 2 months. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. I see. Yeah. Everyone saying, huh? Sunflower seeds are good. Yeah. Supposedly, I'm supposed to be the king. Hey, remember, a sunflower does have a crown on it, technically. Right. Technically. CB, I've been like, this year I grew like smaller ones too. Although this year, I didn't try it this year, but I think next year I will try another variety. I just didn't, I have the seeds, technically, or a package of the seeds. I just didn't try it this year. Because I think one of the things I need to do is because if I do try them, obviously I want to get success, right? So I actually don't try, right? So I would probably baby it, you know? It'd be like nicely mulched, right? And stuff like that. Maybe a support stake while it's growing and after it sprouts and all that stuff. Give it some water, right? Give it some sunshine, maybe a little bit of shade. Let it grow and such. So, and it's supposed to be a different color. I know, red. Fiery red, I don't know, something like that. I don't have the package in front of me. But yeah. I think I don't know, she just wanted to say that straight up. She's like, yeah, I gotta say that, emphasize the CRN, and such. Obviously, she's paying attention, and such. Maybe. Well, you know what? Iron Fire Hose? Yes, he did. Take care, Howie. That 10-year-old pack? I don't know. I mean, like, you could try. It would definitely show something if you can get one of them to sprout. Right? It'd just be like, But you don't know until you try, right? So yeah, like I said, I'll be trying to grow them next year though, because I need to dedicate the time and effort towards it, right? Just for the first time kind of deal, right? To get some encouragement by actually like seeing some results, right? And besides, I think there's only like a handful of seeds in the package, right? So let's see what it, well, to see what it does, really, right? See if I can keep it up, right? Ideally, it's just like everything, like with plants, not just grow them, but be able to see the life cycle, right? The full life cycle of it, and circulate that back around. Ooh, it's kind of all tingly. Why, CR? Because I just used a word that had a bunch of CRs in it. I like that word circulate or circular. I don't know why. It always comes back around to that CR in there. Yeah, I just said it. Yeah, yeah. You want to try to connect it with some earth? Yeah, yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah. I got you. There. So what I'm gonna do here is actually like sort some things here. Look at time. 7:30 Pacific right now. 10:30 Eastern. Let's kind of sort out a few things. I'm in. Well, I won't show you guys directly, but you'll have to take my word for it. I'm just moving a few cans around. Let's just say. All right, amongst some other things, some beverages, amongst some other things. They're just sitting on some crates and stuff like that, metal frame and stuff like that. Stuff for any of you that do any sort of preparedness, kind of more or less understand this kind of inventory kind of thing, right? FIFO, first in, first out, all that kind of stuff. I did rearrange this earlier in the week. Well, I should say last week, because technically it's Monday, but a couple of days ago again. You know, I was actually making sure, like, the furthest date out there was in the back of the shelf for the system, and anything that's closer to today's date is up front, right? First in, first out. I was making sure I took the time to take a look, right? Because some of the stuff I was just like looking at it after purchasing it and all this other stuff, right? Some of the dates are different and all that. So just so keep up that inventory, keep up that cycle of it, right? Or rotation, yes, rotation. I'm pretty sure Sassy means hi, Howie. Pretty sure that's what she meant. Yeah, it's a spell check, right? I mean, yeah. Yeah. And then they're in front of their garden to grow veggies for a couple of years. They are pulling them all right now. What? Wait. I'll highlight that. I don't want this. So you have three neighbors who put in raised beds and a garden in the front yard to grow veggies for the last 3 years. They are pulling them all out right now. Well, I mean, what did they say? Around on the preparedness channels, right? You know, it's a journey, not a race, right? Or, in other words, it's a marathon, not a sprint. However, what you want to say it, right? So, I mean, honestly, they probably have their reasons, but, yeah. It kind of makes me wonder, maybe our partners will say, before I reach down to the bottom of the screen, Oh, I said jumps on me, but like, what happened to the materials, right? Wasn't there they're kind of like this like there was that thing a couple years back, right? A lot of the channels were showing it or talking about it, or like, oh, putting in the garden causes more CO2, blah blah blah, all that stuff, right? You know, it kind of reminds me of that now, or at least reminds me of it, anyways, right? Because I don't know how tall these raised beds are or whatever, right? How much soil, fertilizer, compost, whatever, right, was put into it in time, right? Bags were bought, tools, obviously the time was already spent, right? But you know, so because I would hope that it would be possible for them to recover the resource, right? Because I'd be very saddened if that went to landfill or that went to waste, right? Especially if it's still viable, right? You know what I mean? To a certain degree. Maybe it's split, the wood or whatever, right? But, just make a smaller raised bed or a shorter one or whatever. Or make a little mini one or whatever, right? I don't know. They probably have their reasons. Let's see here. They're all going back to grass. Oh. I mean, yeah. 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 It's a start anyways, right? Oh, let's see what says he wrote. Yeah, okay, yeah. I see what you mean. It's got 2 raised beds in it, yeah. Yeah, I still remember the video from last year. Yeah, last year, 2024. Cody issue. What are you talking about, Cody issue? Oh, no, yeah, now I remember. You're talking about that, like Iron Fire Horse said. Yeah, I see you. It's just like Cody issue. Like, I've seen a garden in front of a place. So, around here. I don't know them by name or anything like that, and I haven't walked by in a while, but, maybe one of these days I'll be able to, quote unquote, interview them or whatever, something like along the lines of that, right? Like, I've seen other places where they have marigolds in the front, they have flowers in the front, right? But this specific house had, like, I'm trying to remember exactly it's been a while. Exactly what they had in the front. I know it was vegetables. I'm just trying to remember specifically what it was. It wasn't a raised bed. Like, I think it was in ground, right? Like I said, I don't know them that well, so it's not like I've gone a nice tour of the place, of the garden, right? So maybe next time I see them, maybe I'll talk to them again and talk to them about that. And I did give it a good try. I mean, it is what it is, as they say, right? Maybe like I said, they probably have a reason why they didn't have to do it or whatever, right? But sometimes I think sometimes you gotta remember, in terms of gardening, there is some effort that has to be put forth towards it. Yeah, you're gonna get some vegetables out of it, flowers, whatever, right? Edibles, right? Food out of it, right? Well, you'll have to work at it, right? Because remember, conventional. Come on, screen. Where can I hear screen? Sorry. Hold on. I'm trying to do something on this. It's not letting me do it. But, like, you gotta remember conventional farming. Because machinery is used, right, and such, right? automation, right? It reduces the effort, so to speak, right? Versus one person doing it, or a bunch of people doing it, right? A machine can do it, a tractor, a combine can do the work of like 100 people, whatever, right? Something like along some lines of that. So, yeah, because I don't know what they were growing, right? I mean, if you're growing tomatoes, you gotta prune every so often, right? You gotta water, like even if you gotta drip it or whatever, right? You still gotta maintain that. I mean, like even the pruning itself, right? You gotta manually do it, so to speak, right? And such, right? I mean, the harvest alone, you know, peas, tomatoes, whatever, right? You gotta go out there and do it, right? So, I mean, I guess, you know. What did that say? Actually, I'll read what Tessie said. Providing it doesn't jump on me. Oh, I see, Sassy. Well, containers may be less quote unquote work to a certain degree. Yeah, you do have to water them technically more frequently because there's less available soil, surface area, or volume to hold the water compared to a raised bed that's much bigger or in ground, right? Because the smaller the container is, the more frequent you have to water, which technically I have to do. I gotta remember to actually do that before I end the stream. I actually have to go out there and quickly give some of these plants some water. And I will say one thing. Sassy has seen one of them. Because I gave her a sneak peek on it. I even named one after her. maybe I'll sneak peek that. I don't know. We'll see. It is still producing here for me though. But yeah. And of course, usually in containers, you don't get that size compared to in ground or in a raised bed too. So I mean, it's the trade off. But like Howie says before, well, he would say right now, you know, containers are mobile, right, compared to in ground or a raised bed. So I don't know. Hopefully, maybe they'll try containers. I don't know. Like I've had in-ground or raised beds or whatever, but now I'm trying to get into container gardening to a certain degree. To a certain degree. Oh, at least my phone's charging. Yeah, at the mid, yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Before, after, on your lunch break or whatever, right? Yeah. Something you can maintain. Alright. Because that's the thing. You want to be able to maintain it, right? As much as you can. Yeah. Yeah, perennials, yeah. Yeah, see, that's the other thing, right? Depending on where they are, right? You may have to move them. If it's a heat wave, days and days of sun without any cloud cover, self-facing, direct sunlight by the building, or whatever, right? With like your reflections or refractions of light of sunlight, right? The space is gonna get hotter, and because there's less physical water because you're using a container compared to the ground, it may warm up, and leaves may dry out and become brittle and like some other things, right? So, I mean, like, unless you use shade cloth or whatever, like, even in the greenhouse, too, right? Because you have to control that. Well, maintain a proper temperature or hydration for them, too. GP! He's in the house with CR. you know. What's up, man? GP. He looks nervous. I don't know. Like, look at this. Like straight up. Like, he looks like, what's this? What's this? What's this about, eh? Like, he looks nervous. It's like, you nervous, man? You going into a job interview? No. Look nervous, GP. You don't have to be nervous here, dude. Let's see. No, yeah, Sassy. Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah. That's nice of her. Oh, you've been making something. Oh, I see, Hugo. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. Hey, y'all. Yeah, with a love, Reinhardt. And Iron Fire is saying hi to GP, and Hugo's just saying what I just said. But with text. Hey, Hugo, you forgot the exclamation mark at the end. You know, to emphasize it. Emphasize. With spirit fingers, right? So, yeah. What does this say? You know, I can't believe I actually like almost an hour in already. Like, literally, like, I didn't even talk about, like, anything, really. Like, random story, now randomly we're talking about gardening. And GP's in. Right? The garden person. Or the guardian permaculture. Isn't that what you call it? I'm trying to remember. I know we just get some very lush things over there too. Yeah, yeah, there we go. She emphasized it now. Like, 1,000 times, 1,000x, but yeah, she emphasized it. Sassy. What a show off. Oh, yeah. But yeah. I'll have the water soon. I haven't given them water this morning yet. Some of these containers. I'm just gonna do it quickly while I'm out. When I go back outside real quick here. Probably before the top hour, which is like 11 minutes from now. Oh, yeah. GB's like, I'm not that strong, just spit. You know. Yeah. Yeah. What's that word I'm looking for? Oh, yeah. Understatement. That's an understatement. Yeah. Well, I guess. I guess you're right about that, GP. Yeah. I mean, I'll show you guys so much that's actually right in front of me. And apparently I've used this since the last time. 70%. I've shown this weight before. I kind of like it. I've been using this for a little bit of time here. Actually, technically, on my last outing, which I did a live stream on the road. Well, you know what I mean. Not at home. Like I am today, and the previous live stream. It was with me, so I did use it for a period of time. I'll probably just use this until the battery dies, then charge it back up and use the other one I have that's full. Then I know it's full. Actually, I am kind of glad that I kind of mentioned it now. Oh no. I was just like, I thought I misplaced this other battery bank. No, it's just underneath this other battery bank I have. I'm like, I know I had it. Yeah, let's see. It sits in front of me, so. Ooh, what? It's full power. It's energized. Check out the zero one I have. Oh yeah, full bars. No, I just cycle between the ones I have. Although I always make sure that at least one of them's full. I think I mentioned this before. Wow. If not here or in a side chat, I probably mentioned it in a comment, right? Randomly about something like that. When you have more than one battery bank, right? Because these battery banks, packs, whatever you want to call it by name, right? You know, they don't necessarily have to be used, quote unquote, during an emergency, right? Yes, they're gonna be useful during an emergency. There's no doubt about that, right? But a lot of people that use a battery bank out there, right? It's for convenience. When your battery's down, let's say your phone or whatever down to 20%, right? You're on the road, in the middle of a field, in a picnic, right? At a restaurant, right? Or something along the lines of that, where you don't have access to your vehicle because it's too far away because you're picnicking, and you walked like a mile in, or whatever, right? You're camping, for example, or you know, something along the lines of that, right? Or like you're on the road recording some video or whatever, right? So it's nice to have something like that, even day to day, right? The convenience of it, right? That's just for during certain situations, right? So that's why I always maintain, if you have more than one, right, and you do use them for whatever reason to recharge whatever, right, I always say now, always keep one fully charged and use that one, right, and just cycle between both of them, right? So like, if something happened right now, and I gotta, like, take one with me, I can take a full one right now, right? And I know it's fully charged, right? So I would have the maximum capacity, sorry. I said that very enthusiastically, but yes, right? With full power, right? Yeah, well, I'll tell you, solar is amazing for everything. Speaking of solar, I could actually slide outside here real quick here. Yes, it's at the half an hour, and it's 5 minutes to the top of the hour. Put on some sandals here. Open my door. Open my door. Because the plants have been waiting for it. Something. Wait. I almost started to break out and so I'll bring out some of these solar lights that I was using. Like the one I showed earlier, right? So, oh, yeah, I got you. GP, yeah. I dance and it doubles my step count and heart point. I think I'm on a bike ride. I was expecting Iron Power first to say something more funny, like beat or something like that. Personally, I'm not using a rainwater. I wish I was using rainwater, but it is what it is. And I gotta water these because they are producing right now. Maybe I'll do a video on it. I actually have to shoot a video on it. I'm just waiting for the air part of it. I'm still waiting for this air part of it. I'm hoping I'll actually be able to show them both literally at the same time, but fill up my container here. Did I turn it on? No, I did turn it on. Or I'm holding a phone in my hand. I'm not watering them yet, I'm just filling up the container. It's actually easier for me to fill up the container. Alright. Okay, not drop that. Hold on a sec. Yeah, I gotta water these right now before the main heat of the day starts here. Basically, I'm just using a container here to like water them. That way I know how much water I've been giving them. It's actually easier to water these in here. Oh, you know what? Maybe I could wait until I leave. Because the surface actually feels damp still. I mean, I guess I could wait a little bit. Although it is sunny out. Maybe I'll get a little... No, I'll wait. I'll wait. Before I leave, like, because I have to leave later in the day. Before I leave, I'll get them some water. Probably before noon or something like that. There's still technically some moisture in there. Yes. Hey, Sassy, I thought you were doing these walks. You haven't been doing those walks? I kind of miss those videos when you would be like, I'm going for a walk, guys. Like I said, I'll show you guys the sky. Then I'll get back to comments. It is clear out. Well, I wouldn't say clear. Well, more or less clear. I swear, I know there's some thin haze in the sky. Because the sky is not totally this sky blue. It's not orange, at least, right? But I know there's some very thin haze in the sky. Or cloud coat, or thin cloud, I don't know. It's hard to tell sometimes. The difference between seeing, like, smoke in the sky or clouds to a certain degree, right? I mean, unless you see the moon turning orange at night, or the sun looks more orange, right? Even right now, like, it's mostly yellow, but then again, it's been dry out here, so, and there's probably still some forest fires randomly around in the province or whatever, so. Feels like I'm missing something. No, I don't think. Wait. Oh, power walking in the hospital hold. Biking here. Oh, now you. Oh, car shows. Oh, you guys like spurred my interest with some CR words. Like I said, I noticed the CR words. Hi, Sunflower. How are you doing? How are you doing? I was just mentioning. Wow, that's basically you, but the sunflowers, right? 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 Hey, you know what? Everyone say thank you to Sunflower. Why are we saying thank you to Sunflower? Because I want to show something. And hey, nice. I'm gonna show something. Look, everyone. Look, say hi to Sunflower, everyone. You can see right about there. That's actually Spider. That's actually Spider. You see that very small dot there. That's actually Spider. I have a spider on the sunflower, which is fine, because I've actually seen the spiders actually capture the ants on it. So, because the ants like the sunflower, right? Because they eat it, well, the spiders help. And I could use some help. Some of my sunflowers here, like literally, like there's like 10 ants on one leaf. Right? Maybe I should like switch it over. Yeah, it's kind of cool. So, yeah, because this one sunflower doesn't have any ants on it, and the other ones I have in this area, this spot, have more. Ooh, watercolors. Ooh. yeah, so stand out here for a little bit of time, enjoy some sunshine, and gather up some solar energy like a solar panel or a leaf. Why not? I still have to chop and drop a few things. I don't have that many more tomatoes on my plants right now. I still got some. I could still harvest some. But, well, my yield size isn't as big in terms of quantity, quality, and weight this year, unfortunately. In comparison to a few years ago, where like literally it just kept producing, right? This year's kind of like kind of more on par, or subpar, or just below normal. But it'll still be good anyways. At least it did produce. I know some people out there didn't get certain little things because it's too dry, too wet, or whatever it's so, or whatever. Because I talked to some other gardeners around here, and I'm like, I'm not, and I said to them, I'm like, I'm not complaining, or it's not like I said, some people had a lot of heat, dryness, not a lot of water or rainfall, right, and such. So I'm trying to remember which one I showed Sassy. I think it was this one. Yeah, some of the leaves are wilting on it. I mean, I'm giving it water, and at the moment, but I'm giving it water. It's because it's getting late in the season for it. Yeah. I mean, it's fruity. Like, I've actually gathered some fruit off of this. And some of this is actually bright already. I'm going to actually have to pull some of this off to allocate some of that energy towards some that are fruiting and such, right? And to maintain the plant itself, right? Yeah, some of the stuff, yeah. Very creative. There we go. Sassy's got my attention. She's got my attention. I see her in the chat. She's got my attention. So yes. Cool. Yeah, you know what? Whatever. I'm not giving them water. I'm still out of here. Might as well. I'll give them a little bit for now. Alright. I have to water them again later in the afternoon. Give them a little bit of water. Hold on a sec. I can't see typing in the sun. Hey, it's sunny here too. Hold on, I gotta use my other hand. I can't hold the phone. You know, one of the sounds I like, besides that crow, is you can't hear, because the crow's too loud, but like when the air comes out from the ground, because the water's seeping in, you can hear that almost like slurping type of sound the plants, well, the ground's making it, right? But the plants, right? You know what I mean? So, yeah, that should be, that would probably be good until I even get back. It's not supposed to be that hot. Well, it's not actually hot. It's more like seasonal. 70, 72, 21, 23, 24 Celsius, 75 Fahrenheit for you guys, you folks in the U.S., right? And what's that do? So it's not that bad. So that should be enough water. It should be enough water for a little bit of time. Wow, Iron Fire Horse, really? Really? She had to say that. The most interesting thing ever. Oh, did I just say that? Yeah. No, I got some other things growing here. Not as good as some other years, but at least it is producing something. Better to have a little than nothing at all, I guess, in terms of plants or food anyways, right? Honestly, a little bit more would be nice, too. I have to check this one spot here before I go back inside. Yeah, I see. 6 years. You surely are getting a lot out of it. I don't know, personally. At least you're getting something out of it, right? So, just checking on some other plants I have, which includes another sunflower, too. I'd show you guys something, but you'll have to wait for the video. I can enjoy them. And perhaps some of you may see a sneak peek in the future, before the video comes out, or it goes public anyways. Yeah. I still have time to actually adjust the video if I really wanted. If I want to show one extra thing, we'll see. But technically, I do have the footage. Well, I still have the original footage in the project file, so I can still edit the video technically and refinalize and re-render it out, re-upload it and update the video. But right now, I do have the sunflower video up on the channel. You just have to wait because it's scheduled right now and I have other content to show first. Speaking of content, I appreciate everyone that dropped by on that last video that I showed. I guess I could talk about it now. I've been waiting to talk about some of these videos because I'm like, I gotta remember they're scheduled. I'm like, I know they're there or uploaded. I'm like, they're scheduled. I can't talk about them. But I can talk about the previous Friday's video because it's finally public. So yes. So I got some questions about that, about the water filter, right, and such, right. And water filter, I won that in a giveaway, right. A lot of people seen my response video after I received it, right. It's on the channel, such, right. But I was just like, yeah, it's about time I actually showed on video me using it. I mean, I have used it, but I just wanted to show it on the channel and such, right? People were asking me about stuff even backstage and, on their own live streams or whatever, right? Such as how long does it last? Well, until it clogs, right? Because I want to be quite transparent about that I did not purchase that. So, it's not endorsed. That's why I didn't mention it. Right. That's why you don't actually see the branding name, really, in that video. Right. The more important thing is, like, that you know how to use it and have used it. And, adjust your expectations to it, so to speak, right? Because like I said in that video, that water was less than 24 hours. More or less, right? So, fairly fresh, relatively speaking, right? So, still remember that. I know because Sassy's here. I remember Sassy, she knows this too, and some other people, right? I shot that video back in June, by the way, right? It's not right now, because I definitely got no rainwater right now, but she remembers that. She asked me about that because I shared a sneak peek of it with some people. That's why I was just like, yeah, so that's why I was like kind of glad that I shot that video now, because I wouldn't be able to do it now during this month because there's no rain. At least not right now, anyways. For the last 7 days, almost 8 now. So, yeah. Here, GP. But yeah, like I said, I know Sass remembers it. She was asking me about it. What are some of these containers to a certain degree? I got some other ones, but they could wait a little bit longer. They're a little bit bigger, so You'll be able to. There's probably. Well, maybe I'll check. Really quick here. Yeah, the soil still feels cool and slight dampness, so. And it's in the shade until much later in the afternoon, so. Providing I actually do water them today, it should be still good. There's still some moisture. Hopefully I didn't overfill these. Wow. This tomato's so red. I have to check on this. Because I think... No, my container I have underneath to catch excess water is not full. Some of this water hasn't drained all the way out. Like you know, there's still a pool of water at the top of the container, so hopefully I have to check on these real quick here. Yeah, maybe I'll give them some extra solar energy right here. Man, they look awesome. Hello, Tuck. A wow, 4-man appears. Is that some Pokemon reference right there? That must be. And yeah, welcome. Oh, ow. Maybe the container's full. I haven't checked on this for a while. Hold on. I'm gonna put my device down. Yeah. Slowly remove the secondary container. No, it's not filling out that much. It's dripping out at the bottom. Maybe we'll put some of the water back in the container. That's all I have. With that sip downwards. Yeah. This looks so awesome. Whoa! Look. I would show you guys, but it'll ruin. I don't want to spoil it, but like I still have flowers on it. Or growing flowers, apparently. Yeah. It's looking awesome. I'm gonna have to pull some of it. I think this is the one I actually like showed you. Sassy. I'm pretty sure this is the same one I showed you. So she's seen it. She just hasn't seen it recently. But yeah, it's doing pretty good actually. And like this. Oh. Don't squish the tomato here. Don't squish the tomato here. I might actually have to pull that one off soon. Yeah, I'll probably do it later today. Maybe I'll make a video, or at least part of a video. I don't know, one of the two. Yeah. RPGs, yeah. Role-playing games, yeah. So yeah. Where am I at? Jeez. Already at the 90-minute mark, or 80-minute mark, 81-minute mark. So yeah. Good, I kind of looked at that. Provided the water level goes down on it. I don't want to leave the plants with wet feet too long. Get that balance of water and air in there. Alright. So, mark some earthing. Check on some of these earth plants I have in here. Hopefully I don't go too far away from my Wi-Fi. Alright. Like I said, some of these plants are spent in terms of the blooms on them. So basically, now I'm just getting the fruit or the seeds. Something along the lines of that. Or chopping and dropping it back into the ground in time. Like, you know. I guess I could show some of it. Alright. Some of them. Let's see here. Okay. Some of them here. So, it's looking pretty good. Oh, I see, Doug. That's cool. Let's go. There we go. Yeah. I was gonna say some cherry type sized tomatoes. Still producing. I'm just double checking them. I have this one that I grew like really wild. Not really, really wild, but it's hanging off my not pea, but bean stalk or trellis. So I was just like, and it's still producing. It's like stretching this like side arm out for it, like it's a 2 foot or so arm stretching out. Right. The only reason it's working is because it's supported by this trellis. It's still producing. Like there's still some green tomatoes on it. All right. And there's one that's almost done, ready, ripe. Some other ones, but yeah. I remember this one year that I had something like this going, but it was like throughout the bed and on more of the plants. So not this year, I didn't quite get to that point, but I at least got part of the way. Some of them didn't really work too well this year, but at least the cherry variety is definitely working very well. We'll be able to get something out of it, among some other things. As I check the bottom, some of the bigger ones I have, I'm like, yes, there is no blossom end rot. I don't see it randomly, right? It looks so good, and you look at the bottom. Right? I know sometimes I'll either use a mirror or a phone with the camera function to see the bottom, right? Because usually I can't see it because it's at the bottom, right? That's why it's at the bottom. Right, so yeah. A speedy stitcher, it's one of these things that's a handheld thing for stitching, right? There's supposed to be like these like very small sewing machines that will automatically do like a running stitch or something like that for you. Obviously, I mean, the difference between hand sewing and using a sewing machine or something along the lines of that, right, is that a sewing machine will always be quicker, right? You always have relatively spaced out stitching, right? You may be able to gain something that has like a running stitch or whatever, or cross stitch or whatever, right? Now, hand sewing is more precise. You can get tighter stitching, right? But it takes more time, right? Obviously, right? Because no matter how fast you are, right, the machine can do it faster and it doesn't get tired, right? Providing you have electricity or a way to manually turn it, or like a treadle or something along the lines of that. Oh, the sewing all one. Oh, yeah, okay. Speak of which, I get to remember to change my phone because I was outside and I'm down to 25%. It's hard to be tethered to something for a little bit of time. Did I miss something in there? No. But I missed something in there. So yeah, I can't wait to show you guys it. So those container plants I have for I'm actually surprised how well they're doing. Like I thought I saw something the previous year when I tried this, right? I mean, I'll elaborate more probably in the video, but I was just like, wow, Because technically the first tomato I got was actually from a container, not from the bed, right? But honestly, like, the garden bed or a raised bed or whatever, right? The plants are physically wider and bigger, so they can produce a lot more. But these smaller containers I have, and let me emphasize smaller as in smaller, like probably the smallest size container you could actually physically use and be able to get a plant to grow in and fruit. And I probably wouldn't do it with, like, a slicer tomato or whatever, right? I probably only do this with the the cherry size variety, but it's just like, wow, it's still going. I mean, I'm getting some right now. Supposedly, I have more flowers developing. I don't know. Is there still time? Yeah, maybe. I can because it's mobile, I can always bring it inside or cover it or whatever, or move it to the sun or whatever, right? That kind of thing, which is quite cool. Take care, Iron Firefighters. Pleasure to see you here again. Wow, I appreciate you dropping by. Webbing material. I've done some webbing together. I haven't done it for a while. Actually, technically, I actually did a little bit sewing yesterday on Sunday. I was just like, very, very little. Couple back stitches I was adding in. Nothing major, right? Nothing major. I was just doing it while watching a stream or watching a video, right? Something along the lines of that. Just because, like, literally, I'm using, like, 5 inches of line or of line for the sewing part. So, not that much, but just a couple back stitches in, right? So, it's nice. Like, don't get me wrong, like, you're probably gonna get root bound. I mean, to a certain degree, I mean, but it was more interesting to see that it can still do something, though, right? Now, I'm not saying the plants are in the healthiest state, the most productive state, or whatever, but it is producing fruit that's viable. A decent size for what it is. Right? Because I've seen these sizes before, these tomatoes before, right? So I'm like, I kind of more or less know the size, right? One of them, I have this oval, oblong type of tomato, right? I've shown it on the channel before. One of them's red right now. It's got a fairly good size on it for what it is. And that's in a container. A small container at that, right? So I'm very, very surprised. Like I'm not saying I'm always gonna do it or that's the only way to do it or whatever, but a combination of both, right? Diversifying, right? Not just in garden, but maybe containers too, right? Understanding that. Although, because they're smaller, I have to water them more frequently and such. And I gotta actually make sure I don't overwater them because I don't want them drowning in water. Because it won't be able to release the water fast enough either, right? I mean, if it's hot out, that's one thing, right? But on a day like this that's more seasonal, I don't want to, quote-unquote, overwater them or have them sitting in with wet feet, as they say. Yeah. And I still got Sassy here and Tuck's still here with me, yeah. I mean, I think this is the limit for the size. I don't think I could go any smaller. There shouldn't be any way I could go any smaller. Just for the fact, I gotta double check. Sometimes I have them in a specific area and stored in a specific area, but let's just say some of them are top heavy. I gotta remember that, especially since I saw the wind there week. I was just like, I had to pick them back up. Right, I have a specific spot for them now, right? Something I actually kind of figured out that actually holds it from spilling. Not spilling. Can flop over by the wind, and it provides shade. So the soil doesn't get direct sunlight to force that evaporation from the ground, the soil, but it's short enough that the leaves on top of the canopy of said plants in the container can still get solar energy, sunshine, right? So you kind of mimic that. I mean, yeah, I get some mulch in there some grass clippings among some other things, but you know, the ground still will eventually dry out in time, just because the water will run out, or the photosynthesis will cause the plant to use that water up, right? And obviously the heat in time, right? But things I'm doing, like providing it some shade, and obviously will help with the mulch. So that's what I think it is. It's Sammy, isn't it? And it's Julie, isn't it? Hi. Hello, both of you. Yeah, I was right. It's Sammy. Hi. Hi, Julie. How are you doing, Julie? It's nice to see you, both of you. Hopefully you're doing well. But yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, Sammy, you know what, the other live stream? We were in the chat, by the way. I guess you couldn't see the chat. I tried to message you. Because I'm back on the Google chats. So I sent you a message. Because I re-downloaded it. The Meets or whatever it's called. I would have to look into it, but yeah. How are you doing, Julie? That's Nature Growers TV, by the way. How are you doing, Julie? Hopefully you're doing well. And yes, the sunflowers are in bloom here for me, Julie. Maybe I'll share a picture with you later. Among some other things. I did show one of them earlier. If I get the DVR function available for the stream, then you can rewind back. I'm pretty sure. But it's the last thing I showed. A very smaller sunflower. You'll have to wait for the main video to see the big sunflower. The ones that are like already bloomed. And I have some that are still blooming right now. So you'll have to wait for that. Whoa, it's Corey. What? This guy's into. Wow, dang. What's up, Corey? How are you doing, man? Virtual fist bump to you. Thanks for flying by. Why does Sierra do that? It's to help me remember people. If I use certain words for certain people, it's because to help me remember what they do or what they're able to do. Yeah. I'm just keeping it real for you. Literally and figuratively. Wow. I'm getting older. I'm getting older there. It makes us feel old. Well, you went out camping? Dang. Did you record some video on that, Corey? Or is it one of those, I'm just relaxing without the tripod or a camera on? That kind of thing. Yeah, of course I already read it, Sammy. Remember, I am paying attention. Just because I'm not highlighting it, I do read the chat. I'm a good reader. But yeah. You know, I was gonna say was, what was I gonna say? Having Julie, Sammy, and Corey come by, I feel like I just forgot what I was gonna say. Maybe I should have some more coffee. Yeah. Coffee. I gotta remember what time it is, too. No. You're editing now? What was it called, by the way, Corey? I don't think I asked you the last time when I dropped by that stream for you. I mean, depending if you're using an Android or an iPhone with iOS operating system or such way. So I know some of these apps are cross-platform. So although some of them are not, are on certain platforms only, right? Either iPhone or Android or whatever, right? Although some of them are desktop available, or so I mean, there's so many out there. I've probably tried many of them. Right. Although some of them I've stopped using since the last time I actually showed a video about it. And some of the, I'm actually even trying some of the newer ones just to see, right? Just to see how they are. Like I'm using there's one I've been using since like June. like I actually kind of like it, right? I mean, like I'll talk about it later again, but I was just like I was able to produce a video right away, kind of deal, right? Actually, so I think some of the videos you've seen or will see, I've actually used that app for already, right? Like actually, like it's kind of like on my home screen or whatever, like those folders you can have or whatever, right? Or shortcuts or whatever you want to call it, right? It's actually like in the third, fourth position, like in terms of how often I use it. Yes, I read Sammy. I read. That's why I said it makes us feel like we're getting old. Let's see. I don't know where it was going just too. I mean, Corey, I've seen under 50 Fahrenheit here, well, early in the morning, right? Like, it's still in the 70, 21 Celsius range and beyond during the daytime, right? But we gotta remember, we are technically getting less daylight in the Northern Hemisphere. Right. Daylight keeps fading. Well, I shouldn't say it keeps fading, but it is. The amount of daylight will shrink when the winter solstice comes back again in the summer, right? And then the days will get longer again, right? And we're coming up to the equinox time in a couple more weeks. Actually, 2 weeks from now, isn't it? Pretty sure that's on a Monday, if I remember right. On the 22nd? I can barely see the calendar. I'm pretty sure that's on the 22nd. So, for us. Although Sammy, she lives down south, so she's like, yay, spring! I can't wait to spring, too. Hey, it's Uncle Al. Hi, Uncle Al. How are you doing, Alan? Yeah, I got you, Corey. Yeah, do what you gotta do, right? Wow, you saw 2 Celsius? That's like 34, 35, 36 Fahrenheit. That's colder than I've seen here yet. Right? But I mean, you're in the middle, out, quote unquote, in the middle of nowhere, right? So usually outside towns and cities, even outside certain rural environments, right, it can be even cooler, right? Because there's no heat from structures, buildings, infrastructure, cars, vehicles, people, amongst some other things, pets too, right? Wildlife too, right? That kind of thing. Yeah, I mean that's quite cool for the time period, right? Nice, Tuck. Monarch, yeah. So yeah. Oh yeah, and I appreciate that well, you didn't send me the comment, but you said it to me anyways, Uncle. So I appreciate that about the video. And like I wrote in the description, I recorded that back earlier in the year. Because I don't have the rainwater right now to do it. And that's why some of these videos, like, you'll notice it looks different because I recorded them at a different time of year. Or the different time this year. Right? My grass don't look like that right now. It's not looking that lush. Like in that video. Back when I was recording that video, there was plenty of rainwater. I haven't seen rain for weeks now. Actually, I'm out of rainwater itself in terms of my collection or rain catchment. Unfortunately. I mean, it makes me wonder, should I get more containers or a cistern or something like that? But I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I would have to like almost triple the amount I have just to even get by. Maybe even more. right? Forgetting how many weeks, how much time's going by without using rainwater. No, they don't grow. Well, maybe, Corey. Maybe. You know, that... Yeah, that too. Like, urban heat island effect, yeah. I was gonna say, Corey. I was, like, talking to someone yesterday. I've been thinking about this ever since September came around, right? Because usually... August, I don't really think about it, but then as September rolls around... I kind of start thinking about that a little bit more. I actually have something in mind for a video for this winter. I mean, literally, I have to wait. Like, literally, I can't even tell you too much because I actually haven't done it, let alone recorded the content, right, and such, right? One person in here, and they're still in here, Sunflower knows what I'm talking about, but she knows what I'm talking about because I've talked to her about this, but, like, I've just been waiting to doing it. Because I usually don't do a lot of the sewing at CW in the summer because I'm doing other things, right? But this autumn, fall, winter rolls around, I'll come back into doing it again. Because if I'm not gardening, then I can do it. It's because the gardening takes a little bit of time and I do it, or, you know, and some other things I have to do, right? Well, Minerva's in here. Hi, Minerva. How are you doing? Hopefully you're doing well. Wow, you guys are, like, just kicking it, hey? Awesome. So, yeah. I gotta remember time it is. Yeah, okay. I gotta remember timing this because I'm still supposed to be doing something and I still supposedly have a shower. But I still got some time. That's why I started the stream like 10 minutes early. And early this morning. Just because, so I could actually do it. And among some other things, and share some time with you folks and reconnect with you. And, of course, some of you get a chance to see me live for the first time in a while. I drop by in my comment section. Side chat. Okay, Tuck. Noted. Well, Sammy, here in Canada, I've seen 48 Celsius. Not personally, but I know it happens. Not specifically here, but yes. What was that? 118, 120 Fahrenheit? It is. I know it's possible here. 2021. Which is the same year that I saw 98 Fahrenheit, 37 Celsius on Canada Day. Yeah, so I'm always going to remember that now. But the Canadian president has cigar in it, though. Oh, wow. I don't know if I'm ready, though. But, yeah. At least on the bright side, I know these like conversions a little bit better. At least, right? 2.54 centimeters equals 1 inch. 0.62 miles equals 1 kilometer. I'll be able to do that at least. at least, right? At least I'll be able to do that. But yeah, anyways. Well, 3.28 feet equals 1 meter. Or 100 centimeters. Yeah. I thought I mentioned that to you, Sammy, that year. And I saw that. I remember, I thought I shared that with you during your live stream. I'm pretty sure I've shared that. And it got that hot. That was 2021, like I said, July. That's summer of 2021. I know for you guys in the U.S., everyone remembers the Texas thing during February of 2021. Well, I had the heat in 2021. So think about that. Yeah? Okay, noted. Well, it's one thing to have one day of heat, right? But if you have continuous amount, remember, it's just like slow cooking something or simmering something, right? Eventually, it adds up in time, and eventually, it will warm up, right? Because some things will have a certain amount of heat capacity, right? Before it starts to, well, you know, constantly feel warmer, right? To a certain degree. Inside builds up in heat in time, right? Because if you're cooking inside, people are inside, tech is running or whatever, right? I mean, even just us radiating heat in a house or a building or an apartment, right? Pets too. You know, if you light a candle for a dinner or whatever, or use an oven or whatever, something along the lines of that, right? I think this is why people like to cook outside, use their grill or something like that, right? So they don't heat up their interior spaces during the summer, right? So yeah. And 62 then for you, on Earth. It's about 17 Celsius for everyone else. It depends. Sammy, sometimes not. I don't know. It just depends. That's oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff happens, right? So you got to be ready for it as much as possible, prepared for it, mitigated, all that stuff, right? More forethought, less hindsight. More proactive, less reactive. I kind of like saying that now, actually. No one else really says that. I kind of like saying that. It kind of sums it up really nicely. I know one thing's for sure. I gotta do a little bit more, probably even today. Not directly right now, but as I think about it. Just get some stuff ready. And like I said earlier, alright, take care, Sassy. Here's Sass. But yeah, I'm planning ahead here a little bit. like, even as the content creation part of the channel, right? I'll share parts of that. I mean, like, I got videos for the rest of this month, and next month, and for part of November right now, right? So, like, and that doesn't even include some of these other videos that I might squeeze in there, right? So, like, taking that, for example, right? Because if you look at it, rescheduling is the same thing as being, in terms of, like, a relatable thing in terms of preparedness, you're proactively doing something in advance, right? Preparedness in terms of, like, doing something, right? Obviously food, water, but, and stuff like that. You're proactively doing something in advance. So more forethought in it instead of in hindsight of it, right? So yeah. If I look at it if you see it like that, yeah, it makes sense, right? Because now I got a buffer room of, instead of supplies, resources, and stuff, it's videos in this case, right? It allows me to do something. It allows me to think ahead, add in some stuff, maybe even squeeze something in. And I'll be able to allocate my time to a certain degree, right? Be able to do this other stuff, like gardening, visiting people, right? Like, I didn't go camping this year. However, I did go and enjoy a campfire. A small one. I have a picture of it. I haven't shared it with anyone, but, and stuff like that, right? Man, I really wish I brought my chart in during that time. Especially since I went and saw it again for the second time. I should have brought my chart in. And when I did bring it, nothing happened, right? I was like, I should have brought my chart in, right? Just for it, alright? I did actually explain this Like, I had another friend that had a campfire, right? I was at their place, right? I was explaining it, right? I showed them later, a couple days later or whatever, right? Or a week later, right? About it. Showed the process of, like, well, I didn't show them the process of, like, making, quote unquote, char cloth or char punk wood or something along the lines of that, right? But I was showing them that if you use something like punky wood, right? That squishes in your hand, or maybe like a shirt, 100% cotton shirt, jeans, denim, stuff like that, right? I was showing them how, because in the bushcrafting community, I guess the survival community knows it too to a certain degree, right? That kind of stuff, the reason why it was made or used and stuff like that, because it easily can ignite from solar thermal energy, right? Concentrated solar energy. Open flame, obviously, right? But a mechanical. A spark from a flint wheel, ferrocerium rod, right? Even from flint and steel, or a piece of high carbon steel with some sort of flint or something that can scrape pieces off of the metal fast enough with friction to make a spark, right? And that kind of stuff can be ignited. Ignited. That stuff can ignite something like charcoal off, right? I was showing them that, you see, it's still lit, right? Even with this, like, I did it with an open flame, but I just, like, literally, like, I like, uh, ran the charcoal over the flame, like, fast, like, I'm like throwing a ball fast, right? Like, almost that kind of speed. I was showing them how fast it ignites, and they're like, oh, right. And some other benefits to it, that it's possible, right? Take care, Corey. I appreciate you dropping by, man. Virtual fist bump to Vinny. Straight up, right there. So, hopefully you feel better, Mother Earth. I'm just catching back up with the chat. Now you got camping plans in mind. Okay, I see. And Corey had to leave. No, you can do that too. The cotton balls, the Vaseline, the petroleum jelly, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, however you want to do it, right? You know, you can make a version of it that's like with what I call fire glitter. Hey, it makes sense. It makes sense, and it sounds cool. I gotta have a catchy name for it, right? But yeah, you can do that with that too. Throwing some magnesium in or whatever, right? Alright, I have a chart tin. I'm actually working on a chart tin. Actually, I've been considering on not a different version, but a slightly bigger one, so I can make more. Because every time you make char cloth, char tin, or anything like that, you can only fit in so much into the container, right? But because it off gases, well, the smoke that you see coming out, right, and such, and probably something you can't even see. I'm talking about like the hydrogen and among some other things within the material, right? It off gases out, right? That's why you see the smoke coming out, right? But because you limit the oxygen in it, that's why it chars, and what remains is a piece of pretty much pure carbon, right? That's why it can ignite very easily, right? With just a spark, an open flame, or a heat source like solar energy, solar thermal energy, right? And I've been but because of that, it shrinks after it's done. I'll squeeze it into the tin, and then I open it up. It's just like so loose. It's like, so that's how it is, right? So I've been considering on a bigger one, but I'll have to see. When I'm not gonna use a tin that I can still use, I'll probably use a tin that's more suitable for it and stuff like that. Because as soon as I burn it in, right, it won't matter. what was on it, right? It won't matter so much, right? I see that, Uncle Al. Don't you hate autocorrector? Yeah, it's biochemical. Yeah. I seen that version of that. Oh wow, ultralight. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that probably would help. So yeah. I got you, phone chair. I got that. Context of the conversation, right? I know the context of the conversation. I'm reading between the lines or between the letters. What? Yeah, probably have a couple of yards of scrap con. You can use charcoal, proper tin. What do you rec? I mean, remember, I've made char punkwood anyways in a can because I didn't have access to a tin. You just have to limit the air because if oxygen gets in and if there's enough of it, it'll combust like it normally does, like your cotton ball or whatever, right? Something like that. But if you limit the oxygen input, air, right, the smoke, the outgassing of the smoke that's coming out will prevent oxygen to a certain degree from coming in, and then obviously everyone, as most people know, when you see these videos, right, once like it might even develop a little flame. I've shown it in a video before to 2022 or whatever, right? The last time I showed it charting, I showed making it and you could see this little flame stick. I took it out of the fire already. You could still see this little flame coming from the hole, right? Because it's still outgassing, it's still hot enough, right? And also you want to make sure that you cool down the tin before opening it, right? Because if you let oxygen or air come in, it'll combust. Or may combust anyways, right? And that's the idea is to have char, not something burnt, right? I mean, I've seen people make larger versions, right? But I mean, something you can put in a bag, right? Something manageable that you can get in a good size. Maybe even the size of a battery bank, right? I mean, I use a round tin. I was about to say roll tin, a round tin for it, but it's still funny. And maybe add a hole if there's not enough ventilation. I mean, some of the hinges on them may have enough ventilation, right? So, and another thing to keep in mind is when you use a char tin to make charcoal for char punk wood or something along the lines of that, because you're dealing with fire and because you gotta pull it out, to switch out the contents or to make more charcoal or whatever, tongs may be useful. Just saying, right? Especially longer tongs, because sometimes and sometimes I'll actually have something like wool mitt or something along the lines of that, like a wool sweater on, for example, right? Just so, because sometimes these fires that I put my char tin in, I mean, they're not that big. It's a campfire, but they're hot, right? They're lots of glowing embers and coals, right? So it's pretty hot, like the radiant heat coming out, right? So, and depending on what I'm wearing, so that's why I like to bring tongs and stuff like that. It just makes it so much easier. Because trying to doing that without especially in a fire pit or whatever, right? It's kind of, I'm not saying it's impossible to use two sticks, but sometimes I trying to use two sticks and it just twists this right. I twist it too much trying to push it together to pull it out, and it just falls back into the tin. And sometimes, it could happen that it could open right, and it'll combust right away, right? Just the tongs, right? Something you can even get for free or for quite inexpensively, right? So I kind of like those. I've been using these tongs for a bit. I have longer ones that I found. I'm like, yeah, I can use those too. They give me an extra foot or two of distance, right? So because like I said, the radiant heat sometimes from these fires is quite hot, and you gotta come close enough to pull the tin out. Because ideally, like the coals will probably charge a lot faster compared to the flames. What? Mosquitoes are your state bird? What? You guys talk about snakes? Yeah, so. Where am I at? Okay, it's almost the top of the hour. It's almost 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, so I'll go for a little. Well, I'll still go. Why not? I still got some time. I just had to top up my phone a little bit. I gained back a quarter of back up to 55%, so I was down to 29 for a little bit. So I can move around again. I can use a battery bank then. Not right now, anyways. Make sure I deal with some other things that I have around here. And I'm actually been slowly, very slowly, gathering up some stuff here. I've been trying to reinforce my winter preparedness here to a certain degree. That's why you've been seeing, well, not recently, but in the last few years or whatever, right? You've been seeing me doing a lot of this winter stuff a little bit more. Not just showing gear or creating something, but actually being outside too. Now, to be honest, I would love to show more of it. It's actually, my camera doesn't actually handle the cold, right? So well. And sometimes the footage I show is very short because of that reason, right? You see like 5-minute video of it, me walking, right? Which is actually like 3 hours in real time of me actually walking it, right? Because I can only show certain little sequences or a certain amount of time of it before, right? Just to maintain, like, especially if it's like minus 17 0 Fahrenheit, minus 17 Celsius 0 Fahrenheit or lower, right? I mean, like, even the third time where I was showing, like, in the Arctic air, or with an Arctic high pressure system around here, I was just like, it was like minus 27 Celsius. I'm like, a lot of these clips, I'm like, okay, I gotta do, 20-second clip, alright, before my phone starts to get cold, because it's exposed to the air, the cold temperatures, right? Like, even at a full, like, any of those videos I make, yeah, you gotta remember, sometimes I gotta work with that. If I had a better rig or something else, or something to heat it or whatever, warmer, then maybe I could do longer ones. Take care, Uncle. Safe travels. I don't know. You guys are the ones typing. I'm just saying stuff here. Snappy. I don't even know anymore. You guys are making up the conversation. Alright? I mean, I've done streams without people, and I've done streams without the side chats, so, like, it's different. I always remind people, it's just like, actually, live streaming without people, or with no one in the chat, is actually, and without a topic, or without something to say, is extremely hard to do. Extremely hard to do. Without repeating yourself, or saying the same story again and again, right? Because when you have the side chat, it's just like, you bounce ideas off, say a few things, share a few things, say a few things, right? And the next thing you know, it's just like you're making conversation almost like you're talking to people, face to face or whatever, or like you're instant messaging or IMing people or whatever, texting people, right? That kind of thing. So time just goes by fast. Like I'm already at 2 hours, right? I thought, it didn't even seem like it. Like, the last hour I thought the first hour went by fast. The last hour went by, like, pretty quickly, right? Next thing you know, I'll be, like, doing an 8-hour stream. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm not over it, because I gotta go out later, but... And it seems like that. Time goes by fast. Because when you don't have the side chat or whatever, or no one's saying something, whatever, right? I mean, it seems like time goes by slower. Maybe because, you're scrolling for the comments, reading the comments or whatever, right? Voicing them out and stuff like that. Oh, really? Thanks. Well, if you're going to do this with, a camp stove, right? Just maybe, because the larger the tin is, the more heat you need into it. Or, because physically it's more mass and more volume of material, right? Maybe just something along the lines of the Altoids tin size. Something that fits in your pocket, right? And making sure that you probably flip the tin too or whatever, right? Because I know people do it like that. I don't personally like to make char cloth like that, per se. To use propane to make char cloth, right? And we're gonna do it with an existing campfire, or like I've shown in the past. I haven't shown in a long time, but you can make char cloth with sunshine. Remember, char cloth or charring anything, all it takes is heat, sufficient amount of heat, right? Well, if you take concentrated solar energy, or concentrated solar thermal energy, you can do that. Hell, they have those mass industrial solar farms that can use that type of energy that heat up molten salt so it's liquid, and then they exchange the heat from that to water, create steam to move the turbines to generate the electricity for it, right? And stuff like that. So yeah, as long as you have enough heat, you can do it. It's got to be hot enough to raise it so it wants to reach that kind of burning point. What's the word I'm looking for? And smoldering combustion point, right? With a reduced oxygen. So it's charred. Yeah, pretty much. Right. It's gonna be metal so it can hold up to the heat, right? You probably want to keep with steel. Right. I probably wouldn't use an aluminum tin. It is possible to get aluminum tins. Right. Just because technically steel has a higher melting point than aluminum. Technically. I've seen my char tin. I'm the same one that I've shown in a previous video. I've seen it glowing red hot. Alright. At that temperature, I'm pretty sure aluminum for the same thickness would melt, start to deform. Right. I have I could show my chart here. Oh, yeah, it's right here. Right. I can show you guys my chart here. Now, when you do make the char cloth, I always, especially if you're not at home, right, make sure you bring something, especially if you're making batches and batches of this char material, char punk char cloth, along the lines of that denim or whatever, right? Bring in containers so you can put the finished stuff in, so you can make another batch, right? If you're only doing one batch, it's one thing, but usually I'm making multiple batches, right? So, especially if it's a pre-existing campfire, let's say 3 feet, a meter in the diameter, right? From side to side, right? One part to there on a circle, right? Usually that'll stay hot enough that I can make several batches of char cloth, just because the coals can radiate so much heat for a long period of time that I can actually just make char cloth off of that, right? Because it's heat, right? Doesn't necessarily have to be fire or solar. It just needs to be heat. Alright, here's my chart. I got my chart tin right here. See? That. Come on, focus! Focus! Hold on, let me change my... Oh, yeah. Now I want it, right? And stuff like that. I haven't finished this version. This has not been charred already, but... if I open this up, You'll see some of this stuff. I haven't fully charged it. Charted it yet, but because obviously this ain't ready. See, nothing. After it's been charged, this would get all the stuff would shrink and turn black. Obviously, like a piece of coal, right? So you can see this is biomass type of material, right? 100% cotton, right? 100% cotton stuff, right? And yeah, like even this little bandana that you kind of see in there, I actually found that. I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna make that into charcoal eventually, right? Eventually. That little piece of fabric you saw along the lines of the tin, on the outside the tin, I found that technically. I looked at the label, I'm like, 100% cotton? Okay. Alright. Easy way to make charcoal, right? And I didn't even have to, like, quote unquote buy anything, right? Especially if I'm using a pre-existing fire that was gonna be existing anyways, because people want to cook or roast marshmallows or make hot dogs or cook burgers on whatever, that kind of thing, right? Over open coals, right? A lot of the time, the fire it can still be going even after food's done. People are enjoying it for the heat or whatever to make marshmallows. I just throw my charts in now, like all the time now. Like when I see like live streams and they're doing a campfire, I'm like, the first thing I'm like, hi, toss this chart into the fire, right? Especially if the like from the bushcrafting community or the survival community or the preparedness community, they know what I'm talking about, right? Then on my way out, I'm like, okay, I'm taking my chart in, leaving, right? That's a way, right? Oh, of course, Julie. Let's see. Let's see what you need to make a new charcoal with the denim charcoal at the farm. Oh, well, like just do it the next time you get a chance. Or remember, the charring process. Yes, it's able to do all that stuff, right? But I mean, like, remember charcoal, char punk wood too, along the lines of that, right? You don't get a flame from that. You get heat going ember going, right? It may radiate even quite a bit of heat, right? It's still not an open flame, right? You still have to blow that into flame with some tinder or bird's nest or whatever you got with you, right? I mean, you probably could do it with a tissue, some teepee, whatever, paper towel or whatever, right? Grasses and stuff like that, providing it's dry and all that stuff, right? So, because it's different from an open flame that you would get from like a cotton ball with petroleum jelly, Vaseline, whatever, right? Or a match. That's an open flame, right? Versus, blowing it into flame from a glowing ember. Yeah. Yeah. Keep doing what you can here. Nice. Wow, you're doing all that stuff? Oh, dang. But yeah. Okay, I gotta make sure I put my charge in back. But yeah, this is why I just keep it in a little bag, Man, it's not even a bag. It's something, I think it's from something else. Just some packaging that I just keep it in. Just to keep it kind of dry. Because I don't actually want moisture getting onto the tin. Because since the tin has no coating on it, right? And I can't really put something on it. And I mean, there's this high temp paint, but I don't even want to bother with that. It just seemed like it'd be a waste, right? In my opinion. Because I don't even know if that stuff would actually help prevent it for, like, the water from getting into it, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, right? So, but yeah. That's why I keep it dry. Because I've seen it before, this one time. Just slightly, right? I gotta make sure I keep it dry. It's just easier that way, right? The fire starting elements, options keep them dry, right? Because dry stuff tends to work better, right? Dry clothes tend to keep you warmer, right? Stuff like that. So I keep that in mind. Yeah, it is what it is. All right. Preparedness is more than just the gear, the resources, and the supplies, right? That's what they say out there. Right? Skills over gear, right? Well, you're gonna start thinking it like that. I mean, yeah, we all like the gear, we all like the supplies and resources, blah blah blah, right? Who doesn't, right? But you know, sometimes understanding like who you are with even when you don't have specific gear, specific items, your your A game items. If we were talking like in terms of gaming terms, right? Who are you without that legendary gear? you know, what can you do with even just basic stuff, right? Remember that, whatever it is, right? What can you do with a match, right? For example, when you don't have that lighter, that Zippo, the torches, right? The flame torches, not the light torches. That ferrocerium rod, right? Who are you without that still, right? I mean, I did try bow drill once or twice, right? I used the skateboard wheel, right? I mean, I could get the tip hot. I just couldn't get an ember forming. But like I did try that out, right? I haven't done it for a while, but yeah, it's a little bit more exhausting than it seems. What they say, right? But it is possible. It's just practicing the technique a little bit. I haven't done it for a while, but it's all good. That kind of stuff is just like I'll practice, I'll try it out, kind of like depending on it. I'm not done depending on the bow drill per se, right? I see winter here, snow, right? Doing bow drill in the middle of 2030, maybe not my cup of tea. Or at least I'm not at that level yet to try that from scratch too, right? Not just bring in a bow drill set in -20, -30 Celsius, -22 Fahrenheit, for you guys and gals in the U.S. and stuff like that, right? But I'm not ready to do that yet. I mean, I've tried some stuff in the winter just to simulate or experience it, right? I'm like, yeah, if I have cold hands, frostbite or whatever, I think bow drill would be the last, or friction fire in general would be the last thing I want to attempt, right? I would ever have like flint and steel, a dead lighter with some charcoal for that, right? Yeah, she is adapting. She's a survivor. She's a. Okay. I better not start singing and song here. So I'm gonna show you a lot of the lyrics. But yeah, I mean, like, this is why I have these other things, right? I'll practice. I'll try these things though. Right? When it's sunny out, so at least I can get a sense of it, right? Then maybe up the game on it or the difficulty level a little bit more, right? Like even the last, I know someone asked me the last time last month? Yeah, last month when I showed this magnesium bar with a ferrocerium rod. I'm trying to remember who asked me that question. I'm trying to remember. Was it? I don't think it was you, Mother Earth. It was you, I don't know. Someone asked me about getting it, right? And stuff like that. I'm trying to remember what I said, right? But I mean, like, that kind of equipment, right? And you could see in that video, like, I've used it. Like I'm starting to wear down the ferrocerium rod on it a little, right? To the point that I had to flip it or whatever, right? But I mean, like, you could see, it's been well used. And stuff like that. I mean, I get other ferrocerium rods I don't use as often, right? I've scraped the coating. Okay, it's marks. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, right. Put it back in the container or whatever to keep it dry or whatever, right? And stuff like that. I mean, I'll probably have to check back on them every so often. Because sometimes they're in a tin or in a waterproof container and stuff like that. I'm actually been considering on adding in like moisture absorber, that kind of thing into the mix of these tins or containers. Because the last time I checked the lighter, right, I was just like, oh, right, because I pulled it out and it was sitting in storage, like in a tin. It was never depressed, because it still got fluid in there, right? But the flint, the mini ferrocerium rod in the lighter, it actually, like, it's gone. Like, what? I thought it was dry enough, right? I mean, the tin feels dry and all that stuff, right? But I don't know, so... I'm glad I checked, though, right? Because that would... I mean, I had our sources of ignition and stuff in that kit in the bag or whatever, right? It was not the only thing, right? It was not the only thing. But imagine just going through that and bringing it out, especially if you really, really had to use it or depend on it, and you just realize, I can't get a spark, and I can't ignite this later, use the lighter to get a flame because there's no flint. Because the wheel just keeps spinning without a spark, right? It kind of sucks. Or that would suck, right? So, I mean, this is why I still add matches in. Because at least the matches I know can handle that, right? And stuff like that. And I have some other options, right? I think I had an actual ferrocerium rod in there, right? To generate larger amounts of sparks compared to an open flame like a lighter or mini sparks like a dead lighter can, right? Or match for an open flame. So, yeah, keep that in mind, right? Keep that in mind. Every so often check on the supplies, right? You know, and you don't get metaphorically burnt by it, right? Because that would suck. Let's see, where am I at? Alright. It's 20 after an hour. I will probably go up to the top of the hour at most. I don't think I'll take that much longer. Just because I'm starting to share some other stories here, and I gotta remember I'm gonna have a shower before I leave too. Among some other things. And then some other things I need to take care of before I leave too. Just to get them out of the way and stuff like that. But that's why it's important to go through stuff, right? Just because it was ready the first time doesn't mean it's still ready the second, third, fourth time. Or months, years, or days later, right? I mean, yeah, there's certain little things that'll probably still be good. Right, but I don't always assume everything, right? I'm like... Because sometimes it's just like, how'd that get there? How'd that happen? Right? I thought I had it in control. Right? It's happened. I've experienced that a few times. And I'm like, yeah, right. That's the way I always add in something in to support the primary function of it. You know, contingency or a redundant source of it, right? Just because I'm like, yeah, that would kind of suck, like I said. If it was the only one I depended on, and it was the only one, and I don't have access to it because it doesn't work. That would kind of suck. Julie, it's not stories, it's just EXP experience. Just something I experienced during this lifetime. For what it is, right? Just for what it is. But yeah. Like, ever since then, I replaced the lighter right now, right? Because that's the first time I actually noticed that all the way through. Where you couldn't generate sparks at all, right? So. Because I've seen that before, so I've been reconsidering it. Like, I don't really live in a humid area. You know, it's not like I'm living in a jungle or down south like some people in Florida. Or places in the U.S. like that, or, you know, somewhere humid, right? So I didn't expect it because it's usually dry around here. The humidity's not that high, but then again, you know, and I keep it in a cool, dry, out of the light area, right? You know, it still went for that in the bag, in tin at that. I was just like, yeah, okay, you know, it is what it is. But I'll have to make sure I have to check on that. To the point that I actually might put moisture absorbers in there or something to absorb the excess humidity. Because, like I said, that would kind of suck if I had to really use it and it's not there. It defeats the purpose, right? It's just like if you went out gardening or whatever and had to walk to a site, off-site gardening site or whatever, and you realize that your tool's broken or you're missing a part of it, it kind of defeats the purpose, right? Because you can't use it for its intended use anymore, right? You know, it's like not bringing the shovel when you get to dig a hole. What you don't do? Use your hands to dig 6 feet down. you know, you know. And I mean, I don't want to improvise like digging a hole 6 feet down with, you know, your license plate. All right, it's one thing to do it in the snow, but to do it when it's like when you actually have to dig like 6 feet down or whatever to make a hole for a tree or whatever, that would kind of suck. You know, that'd be one of those times where it's like, wait, I gotta go back and go get it. It'll be worth it because we can't do it without it, or it'll take too long to improvise something, right? You know, that kind of stuff. So, oh yeah, I came back outside for a reason. Okay. Oh, just because Julie's here. Once again. See? Look, it's a sunflower that has a spider right where... Right there. It's a spider. You can't make it out, but I could see it in its web. It doesn't move though, but I don't see anything catch on it. Although I do know the ants can get stuck on it, so, and there's no ants on it, on that, specifically the sunflower. There are two I actually have ants, but also don't have the spider ear, so. Because I noticed it earlier this year too, where, and I have pictures of it too, I'm like, oh, okay. You know, observing, right? Because I know in the permaculture community and stuff like that, observing nature or observing things is important too, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, so it does actually happen. I just have to entice the spiders to come in and set up a web. All right, because I actually saw the ants covered with webs, like encased in it, kind of deal, right? But the spider moved on, and then the ants came in. Now I have a spider coming back in, so maybe it'll help. Oh, I appreciate that, Julie. Maybe I'll send you a picture later. I'm gonna kind of like a higher resolution image, so that's not just like some stream kind of image. Because I can share a higher quality image, so you can actually see more detail. I don't know if I was even in focus. Alright. And my hand's shaking because I'm holding it. Alright, I'll be able to share that with you later if you want. But yeah, hey, it's Nick. He's in the nick of time. Because it's Nick. He's in the nick of time. I just made that up, by the way. Welcome, Nick. Hopefully you're doing well. And good evening to you. Okay, yeah, evening or late afternoon. I don't know. I'm always trying to remember what everyone is. But yeah, appreciate you dropping by. Hopefully you're doing well, man. Hopefully you've been able to get what you need store what you have to, and stuff like that. Prepare the best that you can, the food, the water, stuff like that. Finances, all of that other stuff, right? Whatever you have to take care of, right? Hopefully you're able to do that. Yeah. Yes, yeah. So I just realized something. Apparently someone dropped off something for me. And didn't initially notice it until I came back out, but appreciate it now. Oh yeah, I definitely appreciate it. Someone dropped off some coffee to me. I know who it is. I didn't realize they were done drop off. You're sliding out, Julie. Take care, Julie, if you're sliding. Appreciate you dropping by. You're sliding out. But yeah. It's nice and sunny here today. It's been sunny like this for a little bit. Kind of wish it would rain. That'd be nice too. That'd be extremely nice. So yeah, I'll probably go till the top of the hour at most. I should be responsible and actually take care of a few things and not just stream the daily. I don't know, maybe I'll just do another morning stream tomorrow. I don't know, we'll see. I do have some time, but I don't know. We'll see. Let's see if I feel like it. Although I did get pretty good response at this stream, and it was nice to see some of you drop in since I haven't seen you drop by for a while. I understand some people are busy North American time anyways, busy in the afternoon or not available at night. When I've been doing these afternoon or night streams, so that's why I decided, I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna do a morning stream. It allows some other people to drop in that have the time right now, so to speak, right? Versus later in the day, well, for me today, 6 hours from now, 10 hours from now, 12 hours from now, right? Stuff like that. Oh, Nick, where do I start though? He's like, whoa, cigar. I didn't realize you had that many. No, it doesn't seem like that, but no, I have other things I need to take care of in time, projects, things I wanted to show on the channel. I mean, like, even this year, there was this one idea I had. I never even added it. I just didn't have the time or whatever. I was supposed to do it back for July, right? I'll have to delay it again. I'll have to record it, then schedule it, and try it again next year. Just because I was doing stuff, I already had videos for that whole month that I had to show first. I'm like, okay, this one video, this one project can wait, and I didn't actually start recording it, so that doesn't help either, right? So I'm like, okay. What else? I mean, I do have something in terms of this winter. Now, it's not going to be a quote-unquote activity, although I might show it while outside, but something I have in the works that I've been considering just because I have the material. And it's right up my alley on the channel, right? I'll be able to put it all together. I'm just trying to figure it out in terms of, like, I need a pattern. Well, not just a pattern, but I need to figure it out. It's not like I haven't done it before, per se, because I actually did a version earlier No, actually, it was last year when I did it, but a version of one, but I want to do another version of one. I was actually saying to someone, right, because I was like, because they know me or whatever, right, and I was just like, yeah, maybe I'll make a version for them too, for you too, right? I'm like, they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, well, maybe. I might have enough excess material to make one, right? Get someone else to try some of it out too, right? So it's not just my opinion about it or my biased opinion about it, right? Other people are using it, right? And take that into consideration too, right? So it's not just my point of view on it and stuff like that. Like, something I showed back in February this year was like this glove thing, right? I made a version for someone else using their gloves, right? And they like it. I hope to see them using it in the winter again, right? They liked it. I saw all of them wearing it throughout the winter, right? And stuff like that, right? You know, it's minus 17, 0 Fahrenheit out, and they're wearing it, right? And they liked it. And they're like, oh, yes, here, yeah. My hand feels warmer. Relatively speaking, right? Relatively speaking, right? So I'm like, yeah, cool. And Nick smiles. And Nick smiles. So yeah, something like that, right? There's, you know, I know there is some other videos I need to shoot in time. There may be something new, at least new to, I shouldn't say new, but new to the channel that I might bring in. I don't know. I've been debating on it. It's got CR in it, technically. Technically, it's got CR in it. I just don't know how the audience would view it or whatever, right? I mean, like, in terms of like getting a good click-through rate on it, right? That kind of thing. I do appreciate it when I watch the last video I posted, right? Basically, the thumbnail says making it safer and deals with water and the water filter and stuff like that, right? So you can go check that out and stuff like that. Like click-through rate on it, it's pretty good. You know, people are choosing to watch this video more often, that kind of thing, right? Versus people are choosing not to watch this as often. Please, changing the thumbnail or the title may help, or whatever, that kind of thing. Like you see in the YouTube studio and stuff like that, right? So it's like, well, I've got a check mark on it. It's better than on par, right? You know, in terms of golfing, it'd be like I'm hitting a birdie or an eagle. Not quite like viral or like, you know, a hole in one, but you know, still good for what it is. Yeah, I know what you mean, Nick. Yeah, I see you there. Yeah, because it's just like, because it's not just my opinion on it, right? Especially for something like clothing or whatever, right? That's all individual style, and you know, some people run hot or warm, right? They metabolic energy, or they radiate more heat, right? And stuff like that, right? So it depends, right? Because originally they saw me wearing it, and I remember them, quote unquote, complaining. Well, not complaining, but like saying their hands were cold, right? So that's why I made it for them, anyways, right? You know, they gave their gloves to me, and I made it for them, right? And I added in something, right? And the thing is, I just used reclaimed thread for it, right? So basically, the cost is pretty much free, virtually free, right? Just some time to set it up, right? Or sew the back stitching in and all that stuff. A couple running stitches in there, right? It didn't even take that long. Really, I think I turned it back around like relatively quickly once I started doing it, right? Stuff like that. Like I said in that video, I think I did it. I think I made like 6 pairs like that. I had to try it out, so I have more than one. Almost to the point that I can dedicate one to another bag if I really wanted to. I've been considering it, right? Stuff like that, because there's some benefits to it, anyways, in terms of warmth, anyways, right? Because now it's a mitt, not a glove, right? I'll lose some of the dexterity. You will lose some of the dexterity for it, but you'll gain a lot of warmth. So the trade-off, right? Stuff like that. So it depends, right? Although I rather have warm hands, because I can pull my hand out to do something quickly and put it back in, right? But with cold hands, it's harder to do certain little things, grasp things, hold on to things and stuff like that. Fine detail work or like precision things. You know, I'm trying to write something or whatever, right? Maybe write something in the snow, right? I mean, like, technically, I've shown doing knots in minus 30. At least once. At least once. Right? As a skill challenge that I did a long time ago. Who was it for? Che? Yeah. So, he enjoyed that. He enjoyed that. I mean, I've gotten better since on some of the knots and stuff like that, right? Trying to apply some more of it. Like even even last year, right? Like I even did it back again this year, right? Using that top line hitch. I've been been able to apply that a lot more frequently to different things, not just for camping purposes, right? And it's not an emergency situation, right? But I've been being able to apply it to as piece of knowledge, skill with the gear or supplies or resources to problem solve, right? To have an option in there, right? Stuff like that. I mean, maybe I didn't specifically use a tall line hitch. What was it? I used a tumble hitch and a Prusik knot, right? So quick release and a Prusik knot is basically like a friction type of hitch, right? It's held in by friction. Stuff like that. It's helped me out. It's helped me out. It was able to bring a piece of equipment back into a useful state versus, this is so cumbersome, this is so awkward, right? And it was a little bit better than using bungee cable, right? Which originally when I first got it, because I got it from someone, or someone gave it to me, they gave it to me, right? And then, like, it worked fine or whatever, just that the bagger on it wasn't holding in right? So, and they were using bungee cable, but the thing is about bungee cable, it loosens up because a lawnmower is always vibrating, right? It's always vibrating. That's why I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, a Prusik that might work better because that's held in by friction, right? It'd be able to handle the vibration or the shaking a little bit more without actually necessarily moving too far up or down or side to side so much. So I always considering, I'm like, yeah, because I've used them for other reasons now, cordage, stuff like that, you know, stuff like that. To the point where I made a couple shorts out of it. A couple reels too, right? I found that very informative. Well, not informative, but very useful to know that, oh yeah, you know, cordage is not just to help you tie down your tent or your fly on your tent when you go camping, right? It could be used for other reasons, right? And it works better when you have some knowledge, some skill, some experience with some knots, right? Something like quick deploy, quick release, something that can hold in with friction, like what? The top line hitch, the Blake hitch, the Fairmont friction hitch, a Prusik knot, right, and stuff like that. Those are all held in by friction. There's several ramps going around, right, around the line, right? You know. Or, you know, I need a fixed loop. So, bowline, alpine butterfly knot or loop, right? I've used both before. I mean, I remember this one time. I'll just share this story. Now I'm playing let's go over. This one time where actually I need to go back inside and check my phone too, because I dropped back down to 27% real faster. But I had to come out anyways. But what was I gonna say here? Yeah, the alpine butterfly loop or not, right? I actually used it in a way different way because basically I had to pull something that had wheels on it, right? And it had handles, right? So, like, I'll tie in like a Canadian jam knot, arbor knot, and a slip knot, right? On the handles, right? But I needed something to pull it, but evenly on both sides of the handles, right? Because I didn't want the handles turning while I'm pulling it, right? Because I need it straight, right? I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, I need a fixed loop in the middle. I'm like, oh yeah, Alpine butterfly loop, right? So that's what I did, right? It worked. It worked, and it helped me get it to where I needed to go with it. I'm like, yeah. So that was a way different way of using cordage, and I'm like, it was just easy. Instead of trying to always pull my hand, I can actually just pull it behind me, that kind of thing, right? But like I said, because I had the Alpine butterfly loop, the fixed loop, more or less in the center, I was able to steer it to a certain degree without actually directly touching it, I guess, right? Because I'm using cordage almost like as a pivot point on it, right? So that's kind of interesting. Because I was bringing something to someone else to use, right? I was giving it to someone else, and I'm like, oh, I just brought it over, right? I walked it over with it, right? So I'm like, okay. So, some of those things, that knowledge about knots and stuff like that, it's not just for camping, right? It's not, that's kind of knowledge. It's not just for camping. You can apply it to other things too, where you may need something like cordage, for example, to use and get something ready to go and stuff like that. It's always good to understand that kind of stuff. Where am I at? Okay, it's almost quarter two. 17 minutes or so. But yeah, that's why I'm like, yeah. Always try to apply that stuff whenever possible to other things that you can do or could use it for. Because then you can see if it works there, and well, basically you're practicing it again, right? Kind of under pressure to a certain degree, right? Or you're doing it on the fly, kind of deal. Can you still make it work? Can you still make it work with the cordage that you do have with you, whatever, right? Maybe it's not specifically paracord you have with you, right? Or whatever. Maybe it's a pair of shoelace or miscellaneous type of cordage or line, right? And stuff like that. I mean, I've used arbor knots before and taut line hitches to help people out. Right? Because it just, or a certain knot or hitch because it works better, right? Especially if I have enough line to tie it, right? And I'll show them, I'll be like, yeah, right? Something like that. To keep something shut or whatever, or pull something, right? Something along the lines of that, or closed, or, something along the lines of that to keep it contained or whatever, right? So, yeah. Well, man, just apply the knowledge where you can, right? Well, and practice by actually using it, right? I think if you can apply it, knowledge, in terms of knots anyways, yeah, you'll eventually, in time, it'll become muscle memory. In time, for what it is, right? If you know how to tie a taut line hitch, try to apply it to different things. Practice it, right? As much as you can. I mean, like, I don't have anything that nearby, but for tying, but yeah, like I don't, like, just for point of reference, I always should just do this not now, but you know what I mean. Alright, here's some cordage right here. It's not even that long, like you can see the end of it, right? It's not even that long. I'll just do this right here. See how long this takes me to do, right? Back 2 times, go around the standing end, go around that, make a loop, tighten it up, dress it up. Basically, dressing it up, it means, just to get the slack out and stuff like that. And basically like that. Taut line hitch. 2 breaths back, go around, put a knot up, going like that. And dress it up and tighten this spot up and taut line hitch. Basically, a cordage version of like a reusable zip tie. That's how I best describe it. Sometimes I don't describe. Sometimes when I don't say the names of the knots or the hitches when I'm showing people, I describe it in terms of someone relatable, right? Names, sometimes names or whatever, it's just like plans. People forget it or don't remember them, right? But that's why I give a reference like, yeah, this is like a reusable zip tie, right? Held by friction versus something else, right? Now, I don't know if I have enough line on this. I'll show. I don't know if I can do the Blake hitch with this. Maybe not be long enough. I know it's a different. It's very very similar to a top line hitch. Supposedly, and I've noticed it every so often when I'm doing it. It holds better than the top line hitch. That's why it got me interested in it, right? It was something that I can do too. Basically, it's 4 wraps around on the back side. That the same thing like at the top line hitch. I'm just doing this real quick. Dress this up too. Here. Get the slack out of this as much as possible. Don't worry, I'm almost ready with it. Hold on. All right. So, hopefully I did it right, but I'm pretty sure this is the Blake hitch. See, you go back 4 times, then on just like the top line hitch, and go through that center right there on the front side, and dress that up. Supposedly this is supposed to be able to hold it better without it slipping so much. Because there's more line going around to hold the friction part of the hitch, or the knot in this case, right? So I'm like, okay, it's supposed to hold better. However, with that said, you'll need more line because you're wrapping it more or turning it more, right, for what it is. Now you just gotta pull this all out. I mean, some of the stuff I'm still trying to learn. Although, like I said, trying to apply the knowledge and just randomly just do it. I just randomly just do it randomly. So, like, it becomes more muscle memory, right? Versus, like, having to always refer to a cheat sheet or a video all the time, right? Like, I'm not saying don't do that, but remember that cheat sheet might not be available. A video, well, you might be camping away from civilization or whatever without any signal, right? It's good to know that stuff. Stuff like that. And like that, I've undone it. See, I've undone it. So yes, there we go. Where am I at? Alright, about 9 minutes, 10 minutes, okay. So yeah. That's why I try to, as much as possible. I do, of all the things that sometimes coordinate I do actually use quite often. I've been able to anyways. More frequently at times at different situation scenarios or like, because that seems to be the option. Right? I'm not saying a cutting tool or whatever is not important, but sometimes I'm not always cutting something, right? I mean, if I'm trying to pull something, a knife or a cutting tool may not help, right? Just because, right? But cordage, like paracord, whatever, yeah, I can see that helping, right? Stuff like that. It's just like a multi-tool is not to help you when you don't have sunglasses. When sunglasses might help, that kind of thing. Like, you think about it like that.
Well, not just practice, but apply it. Different times, too, right? When you're not fully awake. You just woke up. You're tired, right? So it's like it becomes more muscle memory ingrained into your mind, body, and muscles and fingers, whatever in this case, where you can do it. You know, try when it's cold, wet hands. I mean, stuff like that. Because if you think about it, right, you may actually have to resort to it or use something like that in certain situations where your hands are cold or you're not, you're kind of more tired or whatever, right? Stuff like that, yeah. So something to keep in mind. That's why I try to apply this stuff whenever I can, whenever possible, whenever possible, whenever possible. Like, just for fun, just for fun, I'll do this. Just for fun. Make Sorry, I don't have my tripod available right now. Alpine butterfly loop or not, right? Fixed loop without when you don't have access or don't have who gets something have access to the end of the line or you're part of the line. See? And right, the loop will never get smaller if it's done right, right? Just like a bowline, but I could still, relatively speaking, undo it or undo it. Just, I mean, I'm not putting that much stress or pressure or strain on it, but and be able to undo it. Yay! Our Swiss Army knife. Yeah, I got one in front of me too. I got my recruit in front of me. I can see it. It's actually right in front of me. Gifted by a friend of mine. I haven't seen for a while. So I always appreciate it. And it always reminds me though. Always. So yeah. I mean, just apply it. I mean, just for fun. I'll even throw in. I'll even throw in. Right, just for fun here. Using the exact same cordage, a bowline. And their fixed loop right here. Right. So this loop will never get smaller, just like the Alpine butterfly loop, or not. In that same way. All right. I'll pull this on every direction. The loop doesn't get smaller. And undo that. Totally reusable. Well, for the most part, right? I mean, I know some people like use zip ties, reusable zip ties. Right? I get that, right? But sometimes, how do I say? There's a slight difference between when, like, zip ties and cordage can do very similar things. Bind things together, connect things together, join things together, right? But in my opinion, and zip ties, you could do one-handed, right? And such, right? However, I find that sometimes zip ties don't handle the cold as much, and they don't have the versatility like cordage can, and the reusability to a certain degree, right? Because I can, I can palm this cordage, this red cordage in my hand. I cannot palm the same length of bungee cable, of zip ties in my hand without it, well, forcing a hard hard fold line within the the zip tie, right? Because it's more rigid and stuff like that. So, because certain little things, it's just like if I needed to not slip, zip tie may not cut it. Like it's on a piece of like a pole. If I pull hard enough, I can pull it up, right? Versus, let's say, Prusik knot or whatever that I use may be able to hold a little bit better in the same spot, right? And I mean, I'm not gonna get into that tensile strength because that'll vary depending on the cordage and the length, the thickness of the zip tie. So yeah, something I always like to keep around. I mean, I got both options, right? But you know, to me, zip tie for me will be for like one-handed, and I'm assuming that I'm not gonna be able to recover it after. That kind of thing. That's why I'll use it for that reason, right? I don't usually use zip ties. Just because usually I can get away with using some form of cordage for it instead, right? So that's why. Hope that makes sense. Let's see, where am I at? Alright, a couple minutes, 2-minute warning on the stream. I appreciate everyone dropping by. Not quite leaving yet, but soon 2 minutes. And Hugo messaged me, by the way. I have some. I need to ask you something. I still have a chance. Among some other things. And maybe share a sneak peek. Alright. That's something I haven't shown anyone else, but yes. 2-minute warning on this stream. And I appreciate everyone dropping by. And it's been a while since I did a 3-hour live. Hey, I made that rhyme too. More or less. More or less. So yeah. So if you remember anything from this live stream, it's that people can come by, give you a hand. I'm trying to help people when possible, and apply that knowledge, that knowledge, that skill that you're practicing by experiencing it for different means at different times in different seasons with different resource for heater or supplies of it, cordage, for example, so you can get better at it for what it is, right? And tongs help when you're using a chart 10 or chart 2, right? So do remember that kind of stuff whenever possible, right? Apply it. I mean, like I said, there are reasons to use the tall line hitch. I found a reason. I won't explain it now because I'm closing the show, this stream soon, but something else I discovered. That kind of makes me wonder why I'm getting these airfings to use it for when I can use cordage instead. But that'll be for another video, live stream, in the distant future. Or maybe in the future you're already seeing this. Ooh. You came back to watch this video. Anyways, everyone. I appreciate everyone dropping by. And go do something awesome out there. Because our world is slowly, yet it is changing in time. So we're not have to adapt, compensate, whatever you want to use as a word, while it's going on, as it's going on, right? Go practice that skill and knowledge. Get practice with it. Gain more experience from it. And when possible, try to help someone if you can. Until the next live stream video for me, take care, everyone. And we'll catch you all on the next stream. Whenever that is, maybe later today or tomorrow or whatever, later this week. Alright, everyone, take care. And I'll catch you all next time. And have a great day too. Later.